computer. Welcome to Checkins Radio. We are back with little Dave. We are approaching the 1 year mark. I think this is, where's my phone now? I'll tell you what number this is.
Is this 52?
Yes, this is a year. This is the year. So we have not missed a single week. You know, it goes to show in our eyes, like what we always tell you guys is we bang on consistency. So what we do on the podcast is what we do in bodybuilding in real life, in our work, and our relationships. So, you know, me and I had the best genetics, but consistency is something we both have till we're blue in the face. So again, you know, it's one that to me is the most important aspect of anything and being successful is consistency. And very rarely do you get someone who is just initially great at anything. Those are the outliers. Or you can just beat the shit into the ground over and over and continue to get better and find ways to improve. That's what you and I were just talking about, is, you know, taking a step back and assessing your entire program. So that be the meals that you're eating, the timing that you're eating the meals, your training, your form, your execution and exercise. Are you going to failure? It's the exercise selection, like within the exercises for that body part ideal for you. Do you feel them in the target muscle? Are you taking your health supplements? Are you taking them one time? Like, are you taking your other supplements? Like, all things that to me can be impacted on your progress. You know, it's something as simple as someone's like, Chris, I'm doing everything perfect. I'm like, I see you're posing in your check-ins. It's horrible. And these are your best photos? Because I know the ones you aren't sending me are shit. So it's like, at minimum, we can at least start addressing some posing issues.
Yeah. Well, it's sometimes that's really funny too, because I've had to ask clients, be like, would you post this on Instagram? And they're like, no. And I'm like, why the fuck are you sending it to me? Right. Like, I'm getting like a blurry photo. It's like taken with like, it looks like a 07 flip phone. And it's like, the lights are off and it's like, the fuck is this? Like, what am I supposed to do with this information? You know, like the effort or just the communication skills in there. Like, you know, it's like, if you don't see it, we don't know it, because like neither of us are mind readers. But then if you're like, if we ask a question like, how's your digestion? And you say good, like, thanks for the description. Like, like if it's working good, like digestion's working well, right? It's, you know, and there's some gray area, obviously, but it's not black and white. You know, like something might be wrong, something might be right.
You know, if you ask me that question, right, I'll give you a multitude of answers. If it is going good, this is what it should sound like. I'm hungry every 90 minutes, on the dot almost. No food sits heavy in my stomach. I'm not burpy. I don't have gas. I don't have indigestion. Bowel movements are regular 1 or 2 times a day. You tell me all that. That to me is what good digestion means. Now, some other things that may come up when it's all of a spectrum of that. Like, it's like, okay, I eat these meals, but then the last 3 meals of the day, I'm starting to get bogged down. Okay, why? That's where you and I get into work, right? Like, so we start assessing those last 3 meals. Are they coming closer together because it's getting closer to bedtime? Is it the food sources that we're eating are different than the first 3? Is your stress, anxiety, and responsibility heavier at night? If so, how can we make that easier? You know, or it's like, I have guys all the time who are like, Chris, I have really bad indigestion at these meals. I'm like, okay, what do you put on that meat? A ton of hot sauce. Okay, that's probably the culprit. Can you go 2 days without hot sauce? Yes. Report back, it's almost all gone. Okay, perfect. Don't go pound Tums. Let's figure out the issue.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat through it.
Yeah. And that's where you go, I get some good sauces, you know, like Flavor Gang or whatever, but
correct.
You know, you don't, right. You don't need to, everything doesn't need to be covered in Tabasco to taste good.
Fuck no. No, agreed. And I mean, again, what you just said there was huge, right? Is, to me, the attention you have to detail in a response or a picture you send me tells me a lot of things, right? I would never have dreamed of sending John a back photo where my entire backside is black from the light, you know, from having a shadow. Because I know what he's gonna say, Chris, can you give me another photo of that? Like, I'm gonna look at it on my phone and be like, no, I gotta do that again. And what does that take me? 3 extra minutes to either set up my ring light or get Angela to take it outside or something. Because I can't expect him or whoever's doing my nutrition to make a plan change based on stuff they can't see. And if you can't see it, why am I sending it? And if my updates always due on Monday, like for fuck's sake, like know that I'm gonna have to allot 5 to 10 extra minutes to take the photos, make sure they're good, look at them before I hit send. Or fun fact, just video that bitch, make sure the lighting's perfect, and then just send me the video. Like that attention to detail tells me everything, because that to me says when I say 150 grams of rice, it's not 151, it's not 156, it's not 142. If I say chicken, it's not chicken thighs.
Right.
Or go to failure.
When it's 99.1 ground turkey on your diet, it says 99.1. And you somehow have dyslexia, so you grab the 80/20. And you're just like, I don't know why I'm not making progress. It's like, Jesus fuck.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you grabbed breakfast sausage and you're eating 8 ounces of it.
Right. Yes. You know, if I say go to failure, I've given you plenty of examples on how to do it. And yet, if you going back to the photos, if you can't send me good photos, why do I think you're going to take a work set to failure? And don't tell me that you're lazy on some areas and not on the others. Because innately, when things get hard or you're crunched for time or something happens, you will always choose easy if you continually allow yourself to. And I mean, I think you and I have always operated this way. It's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things. And we're always going to do right 100% of the time. And even if our right is wrong, it's done at 100%. There's a bunch of a word jumble there, right? Like, even if your scale is fucked up and you think you're getting 200 grams of rice and it's really probably 240, it doesn't matter. You're going to get 200 on that dot. Perfect. And I think a lot of times people just like really fail to realize that shit. Like, if you wake up and I haven't responded to your update yet for whatever fucking reason, and you've been doing 30 minutes of cardio, you're going to do 30 minutes of cardio. And then if I say, hey, Dave, don't do any cardio today, you're like, fuck, I already did it. Okay, cool. Well, a lot for that, and I'll give you more food for the day. Because that's doing it the right way. Like, it just is. Because I've had coaches my entire bodybuilding career who did not wake up as early as I did. And when I sent my update, it was at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. They wouldn't respond to it till most likely about 7 or 8. By then, I've already done my cardio. If they didn't,
you should have already had 5 meals in you.
Right. Yep.
You know,
and like I'm going to do my cardio because I'm not going to try to guess. Like, let's say I wake up and I'm down 4.5 pounds on the scale. I'm not going to skip cardio because I think that's what they're going to do. I'm going to do 30 minutes of cardio or whatever my allotted time has been. And then if they still haven't responded, I'm going to send them a second email that says, hey, by the way, I've already done my cardio for the day. Simple as that. So if they say, hey, Chris, I don't need you to do cardio today, see that second email? I've already done it. I'm sorry. I did it at 4:15 a.m. and it's now 9 a.m.
Yep.
What do you want me to do?
Always the thing with check-ins too is like it always catches me off guard because like when I see people who are local to me who like send them into me at like noon.
Yes.
I'm like, if you're reading the instructions, right? These are AM fasted. So this tells if you send them at noon, and I'm gonna guess those photos should have been taken around that time.
Right. Yes.
It's like, well, then I know you're not following the plan because good luck eating whatever you're supposed to eat.
Yeah.
By the time it's fucking, time to go to bed.
Right.
Because you're either not going to bed on time, so you're not sleeping.
Yeah.
Or you're mismanaging some other part of the thing. You could be eating your meals, but something else is getting mismanaged. And it's like, I mean, in the questionnaire you got sent on your welcome thing, it's like, what time do you wake up? And 9 times out of 10, people are like, I wake up at 7. And it's like, wow, I should be seeing these check-ins at 7:30 then.
Yep.
Like, because what, you got to wake up, take a piss, take photos, write the check-in form, which, I mean, if you're busted for time, you can write that the night before too.
Oh, yeah.
There's a sneaker because by the time you go to bed to wake up, there shouldn't be much of a change other than however you slept that night.
Your weight and photos. That's all you got to do the next night.
Yeah, exactly.
Leave those blank, highlight it in red, and just fill those 2 things in.
Yep.
I can tell you this too. Like, I've had coaches who wanted like post lift photos. Well, I would still send my fasted check-in, but then I would send after my lift because for me, always I was for the most part trained after 3 meals. I'm gonna send my fasted check-in, and then after 3 meals, I'll train, take my photos, jump on the scale, and then I would send them a second update for the day that had my same all my picks, but post lift and my weight. So they could see AM fasted, post lift. There's no need to wait until, for me, let's say 2 o'clock to send all of that data. Just to send two separate. It's easy.
Yeah. Like, it's less confusing for your coach.
Correct. Yes. Agree. And I think that's where you and I benefit is we're so used to getting these. So when we do work with someone, we want to try to make their life as easy as possible and give them the important, listen, I don't want you guys to get confused. We don't need all the data. We need the important stuff. I don't need that your cat threw up in the floor 6 times. Or that your wife is mad because you couldn't take her on a date last Thursday. I don't care.
Yeah. We need 5 or 6 things.
Right.
Your last week's weight, your today's weight.
Yep.
How many sessions of cardio have you done? How many are left? Where you're at with that exactly.
Right. Yes.
Yep. Like, and then every training day, little blip of what happened.
Correct. Yep.
Right. And so your coach knows what you trained and when.
Yep.
And then meal compliance.
Yes.
And you know exactly how many meals are in between there. So, 42 for the week for 7 days, or however between, you can just divide it out. However many meals you have for the day, how many days in between your check-in. Really basic. And it's like that number out of how many were perfect versus how many are there.
I had a client one time say this to me. I'm not exaggerating. It was Wednesday, and I always would start my days counting day one. Day one for me has always been Sunday. I don't know why. It's just how I feel.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. So day one for me is Monday.
Okay, perfect. So if you figure I was talking to her on Wednesday, and I'd already had 2 meals in for the day. So if you do 6 on Sunday, 6 on Monday, 6 on Tuesday, so we're at 18 meals plus 2 is 20. And I said, I know for a fact I've had 20 meals already. How did you know that? I was like, how do you not know how many meals you're at? I don't know. I've never thought about it. What do you mean? You have 6 a day.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
I'm so frustrated about it right now.
Yeah, right. Well, it's not. It's also funny when you check in too, because if I check in on Sunday, I obviously am AM fasted. I've not eaten any of Sunday's meals.
Right.
So that day it hasn't happened yet.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Yep.
So there's no point in including anything for Sunday in that check-in because it hasn't yet to happen.
Right.
Other than the possibility of what you are training that day.
Correct. Here's what's really wild to me. And Hunter made this really popular with that win the day. And I think so many people saw him post that with training, and they attributed that to hard sets being completed, where I've always thought about, he said the day, not the workout. Yep. So what comprises your day? 6 meals, a cardio or 2 sessions, a training session or an off day, and then all your supplements, rest, recovery, everything that attributes your posing, all that to me in prep means winning the day. And so many people will erase everything except for that hard workout. And I'm like, yes, the workout is important, but it's not more important than your meals.
No.
For example, because you and I will argue to our blue in the face that a truly productive session only comes when you've been nailing your meals for the past week. When I was younger, I heard Jay Cutler say this, and it always stuck with me. He's like, the training you have tomorrow is affected by the meals you eat today. And that, to me, what always guided my ship when I was like, when you're tired or hungry or you have food on your plate and you're thinking about throwing it away or you're stuffed, fuck you. I refuse to let that little plate of food or a little bit that's left stand in the way of me having the best workout possible tomorrow. Well, Chris, what if it's a rest day tomorrow? Then motherfucker, 2 days from now. Stop being so damn literal.
Yeah.
You can't train after 2 meals and think those 2 meals are going to be perfect. And then you're going to have a great workout if the previous 3 days of food eating has been garbage.
Yeah.
You can't hydrate that well before 2 meals or 3 meals, or I would even argue a day's worth. But some people would say, yes, you can do that. It's always about the previous day's action. That's why I love fucking bodybuilding. It's this week builds to next week, which builds the next. And it's adding this little exponents to every fucking day. And as many of those as we can string together, going back to consistency where we started with this shit. It's not a hard math equation when you think about it and talk about it that way.
No.
Well, Chris, like if there's 15 action items in a day and I can only do 14, well, that's better than if you did 13. Find a way to hit that last one. Like, what's standing in your way from that last one? What is it? Taking your fucking fish oil in the morning because you forget it? Then set a phone alarm. I've had guys forget to take their drugs. I'm like, for fuck's sake, like that's the easiest of all the pieces.
Yeah. No joke there.
I mean, unless you're scared of needles, and then always go back to this. If you're scared of needles, you're in the wrong fucking sport. Like,
Very true.
you should have just done natural competitions and rocked it the fuck out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's wild to me when I think about the simplicity of this all and how everyone wants to make it into this complicated maze to work through. And I will say that some people's life is harder to navigate and build this stuff in because I've built the plans for these people. But, and I know you'll agree with this, once you get into a groove, it's not hard. But starting this new habit, and for some, eating 6 times a day and training hard for 30 to 60 minutes and doing a 20-minute cardio session every day is not easy to fit into a daily life. But once you get into a rhythm, and to me, a rhythm is developed after 2 to 3 weeks, it becomes more manageable. And then it's like brushing your teeth. And then it's like going to work. And then next thing you couldn't imagine not living your life in that manner.
Yeah.
Now, and that may take 3 years for that final piece.
Yeah.
So I know you and I have always let our goals for this and our just absolute stubbornness to be small, for not allow that negative thought in our mind to dictate how we're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what everyone's driving force is out there or what makes them want to get up and be better, but you have to find it, don't you think?
Oh, 100%. Like that's why we exist, is to find something you like doing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you're not looking for that thing you enjoy, like what's the point of being here?
Right. Yeah. I talk with Ty about that all the time, right? Because Angel will sometimes say to me, like Chris, like he's spending his entire college career in the weight room, running on the wrestling mat, starving himself. He's not really starving himself, but he is hungry to make weight. And I'm like, yeah, but he says that he loves this, so it's not a chore. Yes, some days are hard, but if wrestling is his true passion and he wants to be a starter at a Division I college, this is the effort that it requires for him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that every kid on his team is doing that because their genetics or their strength or intelligence or in terms of how long they've been wrestling is longer than his. But for him, that's what it's going to take. And in order to make weight for him, it requires him to be hungry. And if he wants a starting spot, that's where he's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never had a regret of anything I've had in life if I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right.
I've had some regret in life on things that I thought I loved, but then turned out that I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's everything in life. I mean, if I think about the hours I spent on my own trying to get better at football or during 2-a-days or after school watching film, shit, man, I could have started this whole personal training thing when I was 16 and been well far ahead in my career, but I wouldn't trade those moments and seconds for anything. Like that taught me how to be the man that I am, and that if I applied myself and found little ways to get better every day, and with through hard work, good shit happens. That's what cemented me into, okay, cool. Like I can apply that, and it's so much crossover the rest of the areas of my life.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, that's like the fun part about bodybuilding is like,
yeah,
legitimately every part of bodybuilding can be applied to regular people life, and you're just going to blow past people.
correct. Yep.
Like how many people go have a job but they can't show up on time? Right. And that's the deciding factor. It's like, well, bodybuilding school, I had to get up anyways for fucking cardio. Like this isn't bad.
Yep.
Like I could get up and show up at this job. Like it's as simple as like little things like that, you know? And like actually applying yourself, like, you know, the effort you put into training, like imagine if you put that same effort of like the focus of you know comes naturally for us. Like I look forward to Like every day I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I'm excited because I get to do these fucking things right off the bat.
Mhm.
You
Yep.
know, because I'm not excited for doing the things. I'm excited for the things, doing the things because they give the progress what I want.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
I don't look forward to, sit on a stairmaster or cardio machine for 20 minutes in the morning.
Right.
I don't look forward to doing mobility. I don't look forward to, swallowing handfuls of health supplements,
Right. Yeah.
but I look forward to the progress that gives me,
Mm.
and that's like the perspective most people don't get. They're like, oh man, you got a meal prep. It's like, no, I get to, because doing this leads to that.
Yep. Yep.
Like how cool it feels to be like just peeled for a
Yep.
show. Like when you're 3 weeks out, and you're like, you can see your muscles moving underneath your skin, like all the individual fibers, and you're like, this is pretty cool. This is it.
Yep.
This is because I fucking ate my meals how I should have.
Yes. Yep.
You know,
For years.
there's no
For
other.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where people get so lost in this because they're like, oh, I hate meal prepping. It's like, well, okay, but do you hate the results it gives you?
Right. Yep. I always tell Angel this. I'm like, the moment you hear me complain about doing bodybuilding, tell me to quit. Like,
Yeah.
and that it's everything. If it's grilling chicken or putting rice on every morning, or as you said, swallowing all those health supplements or training hard, like for fuck's sake, like life is too simply short.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've ever shared this story with you. One of the first like long road trips her and I ever spent together, and we had been friends before we started dating. So like she knew a good bit about my life before we were ever together. And she was just talking about like why people choose paths that they do. I looked at her and go, tell me why I chose bodybuilding. And then she's like, you really want me to do this? And I was like, yeah, go. You won't hurt my feelings, just fucking say it. So I'll spare you guys all the crazy details, but essentially it boiled down to bodybuilding for me allowed me total control and power over the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no matter the chaos in your life, you control what goes into your mouth. You control if you do your cardio and how hard you work out in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And no one can take that away from you.
Yeah.
And I will always lean on that. You and I can't control how fast we grow or how fast fat falls off.
Mm-hmm.
But what we can do is how perfectly we execute the plan.
Yep.
And as you and I were talking before this, perfect is an evolution. Like
Mm-hmm.
it what you and I thought was perfect a decade ago is way different than what we think perfect is now.
Mm-hmm.
But what matters is maximum effort.
Mm-hmm.
That escapes so many people. And
Yeah.
what they view as a prison of being trapped to the 6 meals or 5 training sessions or 4 training sessions or 6 cardio sessions, what they view as a prison, that's what you and I lean on for comfort. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I told somebody that once, they were like, man, your meal plan would scare the fuck out of me. I was like, man, that's my safety blanket.
Yeah.
Because when chaos happens and life gets unpredictable, that's always something I can depend on. If I
Mm-hmm.
eat my meals, I feel good. If I feel good, I can operate life at a fast rate. If I ate Burger King 6 times today, I would want to go lay my ass on the couch and not be productive.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are like, oh, Burger King makes me feel comforted. Okay, cool. That's you. That's not me.
Mm-hmm.
That would make me feel like a useless piece of shit and I would not like myself. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not for some weird vanity reason. Like
Yeah.
chicken, rice, and olive oil and fruit make me feel good. It
Yeah.
digests well, it tastes good. I look forward to it. As I've said to you and everyone else on this channel who's watching, I will eat that until I die. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow, decide to stop bodybuilding and be like, I'm going to be a vegan or I'm going to be fucking carnivore. No, I'm not. I'm just going to eat less of what I do now.
Mm-hmm.
It'll probably be my meal plan when I'm like 8-ish weeks out.
Yeah.
What's that? I don't know. It's probably going to be around 200, 300 grams of carbs. It'll probably be around 650 to 60 grams of fat and probably 300, 350 grams of protein. And I may only eat 5 times.
Yeah.
So the meals will be bigger,
Yeah.
but they won't be bigger because it won't be off season. Like, and I think that's a lot of times it's really hard for a lot of people to grasp as their perspective on this is so just drastically altered because
Mm-hmm.
so many people talk about what I will always view as the easy route. of you can follow if it fits your macros, or you don't have to do this, or you don't have to follow a diet, or when I followed this diet, it gave me mental health issues. Oh, fuck off. You have mental health issues. It isn't the diet. Like, go speak to a therapist to figure your mental health out. A nutrition plan did not do it to you. And if you had a coach who was starving you, fucking fire them.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
You can go look, and I don't care if it's male or female, go look at you and I's page of any woman we've worked with. I've never starved someone.
No.
Long term.
No.
I've continually built their metabolism if they were able to stay on plan to where they can eat more than most guys.
Yeah.
And I know that's going to hurt a bunch of feelings, but it's just the truth.
Yeah.
But you
Well,
have to
it
go ahead.
also comes down to coaching too, because me and you are honest and straightforward. Like so many coaches will just take a paycheck.
Yeah.
But hey, I want to do a show in 12 weeks, and you come to them and you're 36 weeks out. It was like, well, we can't do that. This is what needs to happen. Also, you're eating 1,200 calories a day right now,
Right.
and you're 30 weeks out. Like, what we can do with your physique is this, and it's not going to win you anything on stage.
Right.
And most coaches are like, okay, cool. This is what we're going to do. We're going to get you on stage.
Right.
So here's 4 hours of fucking cardio and a grain of rice.
Correct. Yeah.
One singular grain. And you're going to do that for 12 weeks.
Yep.
Because fat just needs to come off. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, maybe it's like the genie bottle is like, you got to be pretty specific on your wish. Because you told the coach you wanted to be on stage. He's like, well, the stage is going to be there either fucking way. So, it didn't say how you'd look on stage, but
It's why you and I always bang on this, right? It's like in the all season before I start a prep, I want your food to be as high as I can fucking get it.
Yep.
I want your cardio to be as low as I can get it so that we have somewhere to work towards. And I think so many don't realize that. They hire us for a 16 or 20 week prep. And I'm like, I look at their food plan, I look at their cardio, their supplements, and I'm like, man, like, what can I really do with you? Like, you're in a bad spot. You're heavier than I'd like for you to be body fat wise. You're eating what I would consider not much food. You're doing a lot of cardio and you're taking a lot of drugs. Like, this is a terrible situation.
Yeah.
And
like, what card do you want to play now?
Right. I mean, and I think most coaches are like, well, fuck it. Like, they're ready to pay me. I might as well just do it. And I'm like, ugh, like, no, this is terrible. Because here's what's going to happen. I'm going to prep you for the show. You may get in shape, you may not. You're either going to blame me for this shit because you say you look terrible, or you're going to go get fat after you get off the stage and then come back to me again in 20 weeks when you hate yourself and you say, hey, can you get me in shape again for a show? No. I've played the game before. Stop it. If you want to get better and progress and move up and not make me do drastic shit, because it always comes up to this. I want to look like, and then fill in the blank, whoever I just posted. I want to have their results. Well, guess what? 9 times out of 10 of the people that I post, I reward them by posting it because they've been successful over the long term, not just a little slip brief in the radar where it's like, oh, they had one good showing and then they bounce and never use me again. Fuck that. Most of my people have been with me who are successful a very long time, meaning more than 2 years. Mm-hmm. And that means
or are batshit crazy.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And
you want to be in Dave's condition? You are aware Dave would rather lose a finger than miss a meal. like, let's just give you some perspective here.
Yes. It's very hard for me when people say that. Like, oh, I want his shit. I'm like, okay. And then a lot of times I'll just figure out some simple math and be like, I want you to multiply 42 meals a week for 7 years and then tell me that number. That's what you're committing to.
Yeah, exactly.
You sure you want that? And then it's like, send them like a couple of your work sets. And it's like, okay, this is also paired with all these meals, right? This is every training day. This isn't, oh, when I turn the phone on for Instagram. This is when I say a work set, what it looks like, whether it's a back off, whether it's a top set, whether it's a singular set, whether it's everything outside of 2 days out. Like, this is life. Are you ready for that? Do you want that? It's that to me always goes back to I can't remember who said it, but and I'm sure I'm going to butcher this, but it's like everyone is jealous of your outcome, but not the work that it took to get there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times when people see progress, they don't factor in everything. Like,
No, they really don't.
just the simple fact of prepping all of the meals that it took you to grow from 200 to were you 237 this morning? That alone in itself as a standalone task. If I said, hey, if you just go make all of his meals and put them in Tupperware, I'll give you that muscle today. They wouldn't be willing to commit to that. And much less eat them, much less train, much less sleep and get body work and send me updates every time something doesn't go perfect. And by perfect, I mean, oh, hey, Chris, I tore my fucking hamstring. What do we do? That's what I mean when I say you're not perfect.
Yeah.
So it's, and I guess the reason I get so really worked up during all this is I know people see your success now. They don't know what we had to do to even get you postable on Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating,
Yeah.
Like,
I think, yeah, that would probably turn on a lot of people. It's like, go train and eat. Like, before I came to you, I was training for 4 years.
Right. Yeah.
And I was eating, 6 meals a day. Like, I wasn't just eating what I wanted and doing what I wanted. Like, I was literally I was eating right and like doing my training and everything. It was like, I spent 4 years doing that before people were even like, oh man, you look like you lift weights.
Right. Yeah.
Because I literally started lifting weights like because I was underweight.
Right. Yeah.
Like I put on 30 pounds to be the same size as everybody else.
Right. Yeah.
Like
And I think that's something that a lot of people gloss over is like when you came to me, you were already doing bodybuilding. So then I just gave you direction and I took out errors. Like over the course of these last 7 years, I removed ways for you to have errors. And those are things that I fucked up with other people, fucked up with myself, saw on the internet, learned from other coaches. I just took steps away. So you were taking 3 steps to everyone else taking 1. And then repeating it.
yeah.
And I think that's what always blows people's mind is we were always moving forward even through a setback. It was like always moving forward, setback, and just literally you kept moving. So it's like we just took your current status and just knocked it back a little bit and then we're continuing. The belt on your treadmill never stopped. And that I think is hard to wrap your mind around when you're talking about you're approaching 100 pounds of stage muscle gained.
Yeah.
And what I will call the true secret of bodybuilding, which is time, effort, and energy.
Yeah.
And that's the magic formula. I don't care what any guru or coach or other competitive athlete will tell you, time, effort, and energy always prevails. And you can look from the best bodybuilders in the world to the most mediocre who became good to go to great. Like for someone who had a trash physique to went to one that's respectable, it's time, effort, energy. That's it. And then everything else in life is dictated by powers out of our control. So, I mean, that's the true takeaway and message of this year in a recap of us doing podcasts. It's pretty interesting, when you and I were riding around and just had this idea, like God knows if anyone will watch. I don't give a fuck if they don't. You and I will just have fun ranting and raving. And at least we'll get some hate comments in this. But that's kind of the direction I wanted the whole year in retrospect to kind of take in as a whole. Like if you learn anything from us, it's just brutal consistency, man. Like, and I say man, but it's man or woman. It's just it. If you're 100 pounds overweight, if you're 100 pounds underweight, or somewhere in the middle of that spectrum, I think what I'd like to transition to finish this segment out with is so many people are bombarded with information, they don't know where to start. And I guess I'll always say this. It's like, I'd rather you just do something positive today. And even if it's fucked up, do it right 100%.
Yeah.
I tell my 8-year-old football boys that all the time. If you forget what to do, if you don't know what to do, just run 100% to the ball and hit someone.
Yeah.
You do that, you will never hear me bitch. Not one fucking time.
Yeah. My mom, like, always is a joke in my family. It was always like, you don't ever half-ass anything. You always whole-ass it.
Yes.
Like, it may not be the best decision, but you put your best effort in.
Yes.
You know, like even if you're fucking stupid, like just fucking send it.
Right.
You know, like if you're gonna like, because there's no point. You know.
Agreed. Agreed. I used to always joke with my dad and say, I don't fucking just the tip anything. It's
Yeah.
full fucking dick all the way to the balls, man. Like all the way. Like I don't know any other way in life. Like it's
Yeah.
literally the whole fucking thing, man. Like because to me, if I'm gonna do or chase anything, I'm not just okay just trying something. Like
No.
fuck that shit. Try something. Like you try a food. I'm sorry. You don't try body. Everyone, this is a slight rant here. If anyone comes to me and says I have a bodybuilding show bucket list of competing once, I never want you as a client.
Yeah.
You can't do bodybuilding once and just walk away. You
No.
can't. I'm sorry. Because you don't love it and you aren't willing to go to the depths of the pain you have to achieve crazy condition. Because there's
Mhm.
always an out. This is it. I'm just gonna try it one time. Anyone who I've ever heard say that has looked like hot garbage on stage.
Mhm.
I'm not saying there's not someone out there who did it. Suck a dick. Like there are exceptions. I'm sure some genetically gifted black dude who was like, you know what, I want to do a bodybuilding show. And he wins the whole thing and never does it again because he doesn't like being hungry. Awesome.
I had a client like that do men's physique, and he's like, "Well, it was worth it. It was a fun shot." I was like, "Fun shot, dude! Like fucking Christ!" Like, but you know, it's on him. Like, if you don't like it, I mean, you don't do it. But like, Jesus, yeah, like you don't have to be competing to be a bodybuilder either.
No, no,
That's one thing
agreed.
that gets me every time. Like, men and women out there, like, you can go to the gym and just better yourself. You don't have to be competitive.
No.
I know plenty of people out there who are fucking crazy, you know, and
Yeah.
they've never competed. They don't want to.
Right.
That's not what bodybuilding is about. Bodybuilding is not about how many trophies you have on your wall, you know, or what. It's like how hard have you pushed yourself?
Yes.
It's the like how much, like how long, how many, like how better did you get since you started? You know, like the incremental progressions is what bodybuilding is about. It's not about, oh, I got on stage and I beat this guy. It's like, cool, that's fantastic, but that's not bodybuilding.
I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen, lots of people walk away with first place trophies who look like absolute dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they can say they won their class. It's fill in the blank.
Mm-hmm.
You are not what I would even consider a remote bodybuilder getting on stage at 15% body fat. I'm
No.
sorry. You won because there was no one else. Like I think if you look at someone like Sam Sulik, right? He is doing bodybuilding.
Mm-hmm.
But he has will he ever step on stage? Who the fuck knows? But he's eating his meals, even if they're weird and fucked up. And is he training his face off? And all the science guys will tell you he's doing it wrong, but he's growing and having fun.
Yeah. All the science guys who weigh 160 pounds are like, this guy is training wrong. Like, excuse me, this guy is 260 and you're not.
Right. We have all the answers. Meatheads be shut up and sit like it's that damn meme I posted about with the Hulk and you just smashing Loki. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, you're a dumb Neanderthal. Awesome. Thanks for the compliment. You keep your studies, bro. Keep curling the pink dumbbells. Tell me how that feels. Like,
So true.
I always laugh. Like those guys, top sets are what you and I are considering warm-up sets. They aren't even feeder sets.
Mm-hmm.
And you think you can hold a conversation in a room with us. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. Like, if you pick up 80-pound dumbbells as an adult male and you tell me they're heavy, no, I'm sorry. And listen, if that's you out there, get stronger, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, you and I have never picked up an 80-pound dumbbell in the last 3 years and thought, oh my God, what am I going to do with this? Outside of curling it.
Yeah.
Maybe doing skull crushers. When I hit skull crushers in the 80s, all right, that's impressive. But I'm talking about rowing it or pressing it for chest or shoulders. Like, let's just be real.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be heavy for an adult male. It shouldn't
No,
be
not at
posted on
all.
the fucking internet. How about that?
Right. Yeah, it's like posting a hack squat with a singular plate on there.
Unless
It's
you're
like,
doing 1,000 reps, like, yeah.
yeah.
and then I'm probably not going to watch it. But yeah,
I'm not gonna watch that.
I'm going to do this until the very end. I'm going to watch the last 30 seconds. I want to see what those last four or five reps look like.
Yeah.
So yeah, to get back to the answer to that, like where to start, if you don't know, just pick up a YouTube video and just go. Just go.
Yep.
I don't even care if it's stupid. Like type in best back workout and do it. Type in best meal plan to gain muscle and follow it. And then just start learning. Like that's all you and I ever did. I picked up a magazine and thought, okay, I'm going to do this. And here is the meal plan I'm going to follow. And I go to the store with my mom. She buys all my groceries. I try to make it the best that I can. And I just start finding my way through the weeds. It's that whole, like, how do you eat elephant, man? Like one at a time. Like, I don't know. I just feel like now so many people are paralyzed with so much information. Just start figuring shit out.
Yeah.
And if you,
well, it's one of those. It's like one of those scenarios where we got a whole population of people who are wanting to learn how to play the piano, and instead of fucking practicing the piano, they buy a different fucking piano.
Right. Yes.
And they expect to get better at it.
Yeah.
Like you do not need a better piano.
No.
The piano is not the problem.
No.
Just need some fucking practice.
Right. You have to spend time with your fingers on the keys. And
yeah.
So many things that you and I have learned in the trenches only came through hard sessions.
Yeah.
And there can't be faked. It can't be replicated. It just has to be done.
Yeah. Oh, good God. Talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of people who are talking about CNS fatigue who are you cannot tell they are lifting weight if they're not in the gym. If you met them at a fucking Walmart anywhere in the world, you'd be like, hello, normal citizen.
Right.
And then they're spouting things about CNS fatigue and overtraining. It's like, how the fuck are you overtraining benching 145?
Right. Right.
Like powerlifters running the CNS things all the time, but like, yeah, they're lifting in the 95% of their maximum area.
Right.
With volume, like that'll fuck you up pretty good. And chances of you doing that when your sets are in the 10 to 12 range and you're staying 3-hour reps in reserve, what you could have done 50 reps with that weight.
Yes. I don't know where we've evolved. I think it's de-evolving, but I think now people call it evolving into thinking our bodies are just like delicate flowers that have to be babied. Like, I don't get that. I don't know why so many people are scared to say, oh, you can't go to failure every work set. Why? Like, give me one legitimate reason if we're eating and training and recovering and taking supplements. Like, I've yet to experience a training client, a training partner, or myself. As long as I did those two things, training and failure was never an issue. As long as I took rest days. I agree that you can't train to failure indefinitely within a session. Like there comes a point where at a certain amount of sets, we have to stop, but not to completely throw that entire idea or theory out the window is wild to me.
Yeah.
Because that's all I saw when I first started bodybuilding. You had guys who trained fluffy and you had guys that trained to the end. And you just picked which one of those you wanted to be and you just went at it. So you either knew you had to do volume or was intensity, or it's kind of a mixture of the both. So you could kind of blend it a little bit, and that's honestly somewhere where I fell, but I didn't know that you couldn't take everything to failure. So I don't know how we have gotten to this point, but we are. It always seems like it's the small kids who are telling us this. And I'm like, the amount of times I have to say to people, look at him and then look at you. He's literally smaller than you. Why are you listening? Or he hasn't produced any clients that are bigger than you. Then why are you listening? Because it sounds cool on YouTube. Like, I don't know. I guess I've always thought like mindset wise or thought process or logically, if I want to achieve something and I'm asking someone for advice, they need to either be there or put many people through it. And then if that's happened, I'm going to listen. Like you have experience within the field. Awesome. Kind of like I'm not going to hire a rookie plumber to come redo toilets in every one of my house. I'm going to hire someone who has 2 decades of experience. Same shit. There's a reason I told you this the other day. There was a reason I call my dad anytime I have a lawn issue. He's been doing it for his whole fucking adult life, pretty much.
Yeah.
Even though I helped him when I was a kid, didn't mean jack shit. He knows way more than me.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we're into, man. Like,
yeah,
I've absolutely loved this year. Here's to another.
right.
We will be back again next week.
I'm right.
Oh yeah. All right. Until next time, Chris, Dave, we are done. See you guys.